A very warm welcome to this edition of Business at 9 here on ET Now. I'm Vikram Oza and we are coming to you live from our studios here in Mumbai. Now, what's happening in Delhi? The ruling Aam Aadmi Party today has launched a new campaign. It's called Mahila Adalat. And through this, it is highlighting how the crime against women is just not ending in the national capital. The party's initiative launched on the day that marks the 12 years since that gruesome Nirbhaya case. So at a gathering that was held at the Tyagraj Stadium in New Delhi, apart from the party supremo Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, and of course the MP Sanjay Singh, all were present at the event. But Lok Sabha MP Akhilesh Yadav, who's heading the Samajwadi Party, and the former Chief Minister of the neighbouring Uttar Pradesh was also over there. But the larger discussion is about this. Women voters, they're emerging as a decisive force in Indian politics, and clearly Delhi is no exception, as we are saying. From concerns about law and order to innovative monthly payment schemes, there are these cash benefits that are aimed at women. Political parties are wooing this rather crucial demographic. And as promises of enhanced safety and better infrastructure, financial incentives, all of these dominate campaign pitches, the question still looms, will women's priorities determine the outcome of the Delhi elections this time? And joining us on this discussion on Business at 9 to unpack the data, to decode the dynamics is Ashish Ranjan. He's co-founder of the Data Action Lab for Emerging Societies. He's an expert on voter behavior and electoral strategies. Ashish, welcome to the show. The question to you is this: can women and their demands really swing the vote? Because look at what's happened. Jharkhand, Maiya Saman Yojana. Look at Maharashtra's Ladki Bahin Yojana. It's happened before. West Bengal, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh. Is it really paying off for incumbent governments to dole out financial assistance to women and coming out with all these other schemes? Can that happen in Delhi as well, according to you?
Thank you, Vikram. In short, the answer is yes, but the larger question is still remains: to what extent and how it will get to benefit. So
Yes.
one thing we need to understand: there is the overall there is a 49% electorates, women electorates in Indian in the electorate overall. In terms of Delhi, it's a 46% of Indian women electorate. So 46. So think about this. Even the 5% swing from the women can change 2.4%, 2.3% vote share to any particular party, which is a huge number. This is not a small number, and in a polity where the two parties, basically the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP, in a neck-to-neck contest. Why I'm saying neck-to-neck? It's a clearly in assembly election, Aam Aadmi Party has a straight A. In parliamentary election, BJP has a straight A. But in this election, it would be little bit different. Because the Aam Aadmi Party is also facing 10 years of anti-incumbency. They will have to answer some of the questions. But the thing is, BJP had certain base of around 38 to 39% vote base in Delhi and during the assembly election as well. But the party needs to add 5 to 6% additional vote share, which can come from the Aam Aadmi Party background of the Aam Aadmi Party, and that the contest would be close.
Yes.
The second thing.
Yes, certainly. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. The second thing, it is clearly the era of women politics.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Just let me ask you to pause over there. Because when you say era for women, how exactly is that changing when you talk about the election scenario? Because it wasn't like personal safety is a new topic. When we talk about effective policing, these are needs that women always had. What has really changed that is making it the era of women? Because I'm also seeing a shift from safety and education. There is much more financial assistance being offered to women.
Yeah, look, in the first Lok Sabha election in 1952 and then in 1957, the share of women electorates, the women voters who have voted in the election, it's around 40%. That means 60% male voted in that election and 40% women. But look at the 2024 national election. Women and male both, I mean, their share is 51 versus 49%. And both are almost voting as a same manner. I mean, their turnout are equally same. And even in the last elections, I mean, in 2019, the women little voted more than the men. The second thing, what I can say you, that's the emancipations and the the participation of the women, it's not suddenly increased. It has been targeted. It has been increasing throughout the year. So look at the era of 70s and 80s when their identity politics, regionalism has been emerging in 90s, the decades of 90s. The regionalism on the regional forces has been increasing, and then the Professor Yogendra Yadav's so-called political side, the theory is second democratic research, where it is clearly says the women who has been downtrodden and has their participation increased.
Yes.
But since 2005, and especially in the case of Bihar, when Nitish Kumar has initiated certain, so-called the bicycle yojana, which also
Yes.
implemented by Mamata Banerjee, and later on, that has the period when actually the leaders has thought massively to empower the women.
Right.
And Nitish Kumar did not stop on the only the education. He has provided 50% reservation to the panchayat elections, 33% reservation in the jobs and other things.
Yeah.
And 2019 onwards, the Lucky Bernard, the Mamata Banerjee initiated, and then other parties has been following. So today, almost
Anyone?
all the parties, no party can deny that almost all parties are offering to the women,
So,
and they
so what is
know they
happening
are focused.
differently? Ashish, now the AAP
Yes.
government of Delhi is claiming credit for installing CCTV cameras across Delhi. Now, there are these measures that parties want to take credit for. They're trying to win the trust of women at the ballot box. What has worked for them? Because lately we've seen it's much more about cash benefits. But since you're saying that participation of women when it comes to elections has gone up and it has happened gradually over a period of time, but the way that political parties are wooing them, that has changed, hasn't it?
Yes, yes, of course. In 1980s, Jayalalitha, and even before the MG Ramachandran, they initiated the nutritious program to attract the Anganwadi and the schools, so that the education enrollment has been increased. Jayalalitha given the subsidy in the mixer, grinder, and other kind of thing. But in last 10-15 years, the attractions of the political parties are the women, and there is a two reasons. Because one, they are the silent voter, because they are less ideological dominated, and if there is any economic transactions to them, they are favoring that particular party. You can take any example, whether West Bengal, whether Delhi, whether Karnataka. In all the cases, there is no single evidence which suggests that women get the benefits, and especially the economic transactions, and
But but Ashish,
and it not supported.
But
Yes,
Ashish,
please,
aren't they
please.
also seen as sometimes just token gestures? Do they actually believe that some of these measures that are being taken, they sustain, and can they genuinely resonate over a period of time with women voters, how they decide to vote based on what a political party is promising them or bringing to the table for them?
In India, in the case of India, it's the political party who mobilize the women and other constituents. So in case of India, so in case of women, the money, the economic transactions, it's not that the only women can get the benefits and voted to that particular party. Take it the example of Kisan Samman Nidhi launched by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2019, just before the few months before the Lok Sabha election, and how it has benefited. So this is the completely era, whether you can say it's a economic crisis, and that's why people are facing some economic distress, and whatever the money they are getting, they are giving to support to that particular party. One thing very important here, one thing, you know, in terms of rural area and other countries, people used to assume the government as a my bab. Whatever the government is giving, that actually they are doing some mercy, they are just doing some donation. But
But tell me, Ashish, do we have any data that suggests that women in Delhi are more likely to vote for a party that is prioritizing their concerns? Is there something that supports that view?
That's a critical thing, because we still don't have much deeper study which suggests that women are more focusing on the party's manifesto. They are just replying to them, because we have data that women have voted a particular party with just few percent more, few percent more votes than their female their main counterparts. But we don't have much studies, deeper studies. I think there is a one study done by Samika Ravi in during the 2015, 2010 and 15 Bihar Vidhan Sabha election, 2005 Vidhan Sabha election, where she suggested that it's clearly indicating that's women favoring those who are more focusing on the basic of the law and order, trying to improve the law and order. Basically, she was
So there
comparing
might be a
the
split in
February
the
2005.
demographics over there as well, no, Ashish? As
Yes,
far as
yes,
younger women
yes,
voters are concerned.
yes,
Because
yes,
they may have
yes.
different expectations than their older counterparts.
Yeah. We can't ignore there is a class, caste, class, caste, and education level kind of variables which can still determine. I mean, when we say that women has become their independent constituency, it's not an easy answer
And
for
does it
that.
vary according to to the regions
Exactly.
that we're talking about? Like in Delhi, how is it specifically different in Delhi? How women in Delhi would likely vote in response to the kind of stops that are offered by the political parties?
Yes. And in 2020 Assembly election in Delhi, it was clearly the CSDS report says the women were favoring little bit more than the male voter to the Aam Aadmi Party.
Ashish, if you had to pick one key issue that will make or break the woman vote in this election in Delhi, what do you think that would be?
Definitely, since the government has the Aam Aadmi Party has already announced the 2,100 rupees to women, it will definitely impact the electoral outcome of the to the 2025 assembly election. But the question is still how much, if because every party has been offering soap. Now, whose soap is better than the other? But
Is
one
it
thing is,
just,
please remember that
yes,
the incumbent party has always an edge to provide any transactional benefit.
right,
So whether it's Maharashtra, whether it's Jharkhand, all the cases, because they have the finances, they have the budget,
yes,
they can announce. And especially in the case of even in during my field work in Madhya Pradesh and
yes.
in Maharashtra, women was, and especially the voter was saying, one has been giving us and the another is promising us.
All right.
So we
There's
will
a big
believe who
difference. So
has
they
given
want to
them.
be given rather than just being
Exactly.
promised. Also, a trend of
Exactly.
women breaking away from traditional family voting patterns, making their independent choices. Whether or not that's going to come into play in Delhi as well, we'll have to wait and watch. But there are no longer passive participants when it comes to elections. A woman vote really counts. They're actively reshaping the political dialogue. Safety schemes, societal progress, choices for, are they forcing parties to rethink their priorities and policies, and whether they'll do much more of that in the future, especially in the Delhi election? We'll have to wait and watch. But we'll know soon enough. One thing is clear, the power of their vote cannot be underestimated. Ashish, thank you very much
Yes.
for joining us on
Thank
this
you.
discussion on the Delhi elections. Appreciate it. We'll take a very quick breather. On the other side, we've got some exclusive pieces of news.